Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to Believers IAS Academy. This is the 400 plus GS series for Mains. Today, I will be helping you score 100 plus 130 plus marks in GS4, that is Ethics and Interface. In this, I will be bringing you 3 videos. And the first video, I will explain you and I will give you important quotes. These quotes can be used in either introduction or in conclusion of your GS4 answers, or also as justification in case studies. So very important video. Without any delay, we start the discussion. I have mapped these quotes according to UPSC GS4 syllabus. So under each important syllabus, I have brought important quotes. So the first part of UPSC GS4, that is Ethics and Human Interface, the syllabus is Ethics and Human Interface. So important quotes. The first important quote is from Mahatma Gandhi. That is, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. If you are watching this video, try to say out the quotes along with me so that you will be able to remember and recall it better. The quotes is, instead of writing it more, try to say it out loud. Try to say it in your mind so that you will recall and remember it better. Okay, so the quote is, say it with me, that is, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. This can also be used in justification in the case studies, where there is a case to be or choice to be made between service to others and service to oneself. You can use this as your justification. Second is from Aristotle, all the way from Europe. So the quote is, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. Okay, so what happens is, how do you focus on hard work? Okay, excellence just becomes an act but an habit, not an act but an habit. As we start doing good habits in a regular way, the excellence is achieved in a simpler manner. So very important quote, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. Okay, next is Chanakya, back to India. We can talk this about happiness. That is, the happiness of people is in the happiness of the king. Their welfare is his welfare. Okay, so here it talks about duty bondedness. This can be used in ethics and human interface, or also probity in governance. Okay, so very important. Next, so once again I will tell you the quote, that is, the happiness of the people is the happiness of the king. Their welfare is his welfare. Okay, next, second topic is attitude. Important quotes with respect to attitude are, first is Winston Churchill, all the way from United Kingdom or England. Say it with me, the quote is, attitude is a little thing that makes big difference. Any question related to attitude, you can use this as an introduction or in the conclusion or even in the body to justify the change in attitude. So attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Next, again back to our own very Mahatma Gandhi ji, that is, man often becomes what he believes himself to be. Okay, man often becomes what he believes himself to be. Here we can talk about the congruence between attitude, thoughts and behavior. So this quote can also be used in addressing integrity. So integrity is a confluence of attitude, thought and behavior or actions. So that is where you can use again. Next, again back to Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama says, in order to carry a positive action, we must develop a positive vision. In order to carry a positive action, we must develop here a positive vision. Only when there is a vision, you can achieve the action. So it talks about importance of vision. Okay, so important quote again. Next, the third topic is aptitude and foundational values for civil servants. These quotes can be used in case studies better. So first is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. So he says, a civil servant is a servant of the people. This is very relevant in present context because many of the civil servants have forgot this. They think they are above the people. They think they are above the law. So now this quote is very important to remind them that they are not kings, they are rather servants of the people. So the quote is, a civil servant is a servant of the people. Next, Kautilya or Chanakya in his Arthashastra says that in the happiness of his subjects lies the king's happiness, in their welfare is his welfare. As we already discussed in introduction, this quote is again repeated because this can be used in aptitude and foundation varieties of civil service, or also used in probity in governance, or also used with respect to leadership. Okay, now back to Europe, back to ancient Greece. That is about Plato. Plato says the penalty that the good men pay for not being interested in politics is to be governed by worse men. Very significant quote, especially in the current context of the world, where the government is run by worse men. I'm not going to take out the names of the worse men, but just remember that most of the governments in the world are being run by worse men. So this says that the penalty that the good men pay for not being interested in politics is to be governed by worse men. This quote can be better used in cases where the case argues for youth in politics. Okay, youth in politics, or also voter apathy. Voter apathy. So this case can be, or this quote can be used in these kind of topics. Very important quote. I will repeat it again. The penalty that the good men pay for not being interested in politics is to be governed by worse men. Okay. Next, the fourth is with respect to emotional intelligence or EI. Very important chapter. Every year you can expect at least one or two questions from EI. So remember the quotes. First is Daniel Goleman. He is the person who defined emotional intelligence in the beginning. Actually, initial emotional intelligence word was given by Daniel Katz, but it was defined by Daniel Goleman. What does he say? What really matters for success is emotional intelligence and not just cognitive intelligence. Okay, he says that emotional intelligence, that is EI, is greater than cognitive intelligence. Okay, very important. Next, Buddha, Gautama Buddha talks about anger management, use of emotional intelligence in anger management. He says that holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with intent of throwing it at someone else. Instead, you are the one who gets burned. Very important, simple but very effective quote. Here it talks about anger management. Okay, according to Buddha, anger is nothing but a hot coal which you keep in your hand for throwing outside or throwing at someone else. But who is getting harmed here? It is your own self. So I'll repeat the quote again. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. This quote is similar to what Buddha did with respect to Angulimala. When, not Angulimala, someone who was scolding Gautama Buddha. Gautama Buddha was moving around with providing sermons, and he was giving his sermons to all the people. When he was giving sermon at one particular village, a person comes up and starts hurling abuses at Gautama Buddha. He says that you are so and so, who starts using bad uses. He starts abusing the Gautama Buddha. And Gautama Buddha says that I do not accept your gift. For me, if I do not accept the gift, it goes back to you. So your abuses are gift to me, which I'm not going to accept. So instead, you are abusing yourself. So how Gautama Buddha used emotional intelligence in that particular case. So he shows here the significance of anger management. Next, Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou says that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Okay, so this talks about importance of feelings, importance of feelings, importance of emotion. So life is more than just materialistic gains. Life is more about moments. Life is more about emotions. Life is more about making memories. So very important. People will forget what you were, what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So always make them feel warm. Always make them feel happy. Okay. Next, contributions of moral thinkers and philosophers. Till now, all the things we discuss are actually contributions of moral philosophers and thinkers. Again, few of the important thinkers and their quotes. Immanuel Kant: act only according to that maxim whereby you can at the same time will that it should become universal law. So this is nothing but Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative 2. Categorical imperative 2. It says that act according to an action which can be made universal. Okay, if an act can be made universal, then that act can be done by you, or else you should not go for that particular act. That is, act only according to that maxim whereby you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. I know it is very difficult, but in simple words, always do something which can be universalized. Next, Swami Vivekananda: they alone live who live for others. This is again similar to Gandhian ideology. That is, greatest happiness is found in serving others. Similarly, they alone live who live for others. So it talks about higher happiness. They talk about higher life. Okay, they talk about purpose of life. Okay, fine. Next is John Stuart Mill, or famously known as J.S. Mill. He talks about genuine worth of a man is in proportion to objective pursuits. Genuine worth of the man is in proportion to the objects he pursues. So again, talks about worth of a man. It is not found in materials, but the objects he pursues. Okay. Next, with respect to public or civil service values and ethics in administration, we already discussed, but again, some other important quotes. First is Max Weber. Weberian principles are very famous in IR and PSIR. So here just we'll have a discussion about a key quote of his. That is, politics is a strong and slow boring of hard boards. It takes both passion and perspective. So it talks about the duality of politics. That is, politics is a strong and slow boring of a hard boards. It takes both passion and perspective. So what is required in politics is passion and perspective, because it is strong and slow boring hard boards. Next is Woodrow Wilson. Who was Woodrow Wilson? He was the US president immediately after the World War I. He was the person who gave the idea behind United Nations, which was initially called as League of Nations. People who are preparing for mains this year, he is very important from GS1 world history as well. So Woodrow Wilson says, the ear of the leader must ring with voices of the people. The ear of the leader must ring with voice of the people. He shows again the significance of a leader. A leader should always try to serve the people, always try to hear the voice of the people. This quote is similar to Chanakya or Kautilya's quote. That is, the happiness of his subjects lies in the king's happiness. In their welfare is his welfare. So these quotes can be interchangeable. Suppose there is a question with respect to this particular case, so this particular quote of Woodrow Wilson, you can start that particular quote by mentioning the Kautilya's quote. Okay, so this is how you address this quote based questions in UPSC. Next, Abraham Lincoln. He says, I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live by the light that I have. It talks about staying true to oneself. Okay, that is, I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live by the light that I have. Again, true quality of a leader. Quality of a leader is exposed here, or expressed here, not exposed, expressed here. Next is probity in governance. Probity in governance. So Mahatma Gandhi talks about earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. Okay, so here this can also be applied to environmental ethics as well. Applied to environmental ethics as well. That is, earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. Okay, so you can use this in the case studies as well. Wherever there is a corruption, wherever there is or any actions, or wherever there is a misuse of discretion for their own favor, You can use these quotes. Next, Cicero. Cicero says, or Cicero says, the good of the people is the highest law. The good of the people is the highest law. That is, he talks about law and ethics. Law only demands external behavior, okay, whereas ethics deals with internal behavior. So it is said that law provides minimum standards a person can follow, whereas ethics provides maximum or highest standard one should strive for. Okay, so this highest standard is found in the good of the people. So he says that, Caesar says that good of the people is the highest law. There is nothing above the good of the people. Next, Kofi Annan, who was Secretary of the United Nations General Assembly for so many years, he says that good governance is perhaps the single most important factor in eradicating poverty and promoting development. So this quote can be also used in GS3. Okay, very important quote. Whenever there is a question addressing the issues of poverty, unemployment, hunger, etc., you can use this quote. Or any question with respect to good governance, you can use this quote. Good governance is perhaps the single most important factor in eradicating poverty and promoting development. Next, case studies, the final topic for the discussion today. All the above quotes which I have told you till now can be used in your case studies. So few of the quotes here is Confucius. The strength of a nation derives from integrity of the home. Strength of the nation derives from integrity of the home. Next is Albert Einstein. He says that world is a dangerous place not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look and do nothing. Okay, whenever there is a case study which discusses about choosing in dilemmas, okay, who has to take a positive stand or a strong stand, there you can use this particular quote. This quote is similar to Machiavelli's another quote. Okay, so Machiavelli says hottest places in the hell are reserved for those who stay neutral in the time of crisis. Okay, here he talks about importance of making or taking a choice or taking a stand. So in most of the case studies you have to take a stand. So in those case studies, if you take a particular stand, use this quote in the conclusion. So according to the Machiavelli principle, I am going to take a stand because so and so. This is how you should address ethics answers. This is what I followed in my previous ethics exams. So I was able to score 120 plus in last years, despite me losing out on 2 case studies. Despite me not written 2 case studies and 110 markers, I was able to score 120 marks. So I would say this has worked very well for me in the previous ethics. So if you are able to do those 2 case studies, one 10 marker question, you will be able to easily score those 130 plus marks with the topper score. So this ethics paper is going to make or break your make or break your mains answers, or make or break your main score. So this particular video becomes very important, and in tomorrow and day after tomorrow I'll bring 2 more videos. In the first video I will bring ethical frameworks of important thinkers which you can use in different subjects, different topics, and I'm going to bring religious scriptures or religious ideas which you can use in ethics as well. It is going to be very important. So this connection between religious and ethics is going to be very important for your mains answer this year. So keep following us, and also I wish all the best to every student. I wish that you come out with the flying colors and score this 400 plus mains, and also go into the interview and then finally get the rank. With this I will end the video for the day. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.